question, like, what the hell is going on? And all these players, like, Liverpool was an absolute... Let's not get crazy. Here we go. 3-team teaser. All 8. They just don't give a shit. Yeah, so... We're back.
We're back again.
We're back again,
Welcome back to the channel.
Yeah, we are back again. Welcome everybody out there. Another episode, football predictions. I'm excited to be here.
I'm very excited to be here. So, but before we even start, guys, big, huge shout out to all of you guys with the grateful comments last video. It really gave us the boost this video.
The comments were awesome, man.
The comments were awesome.
Absolutely.
Shout out.
Yeah, like when we get that feedback, it feels good just knowing that there's people out there that are enjoying the content, enjoying what we're talking about, because we love doing it.
Yeah, we love doing it.
And if we got some people out there that are on board with us, it really makes us feel good. So thank you very much for that.
Here we go.
All right, so we'll get right into it. We had the FA Cup and a few Premier League games this week. Our picks were pretty good. Okay, so right off the bat, we got tripped up on that Leicester City Blackburn game. Like looking back at it, actually, we probably should have known better. I mean, Blackburn actually are having a decent season, and Leicester City have not been in good form recently. And Blackburn, they played very, very well in that game. Very well, and they deserve that win.
They do?
You can't get them all. You can't get them all.
The FA Cup always shocked us every time.
Yeah, absolutely.
It really shocked us every time because, you know, the managers, they rotate the players, so disaster can happen.
Even Harry Maguire was playing last night. Yeah, you just never know what's going to go on. But yeah, Brighton, we like Brighton over Stoke City. We nailed that one. That one was a great hit for us. Yeah, Man U, they beat West Ham. Even that game in our preview, we were talking about it. We said it would be a pretty tricky game, and it definitely was. West Ham, actually, they probably have some serious regrets about that game because, man, it was right there for them to win it. 1-0 up, 15 minutes to play, and they pissed it away.
Unbelievable.
I guess that's what makes Man U so great this season is they have that ability to dig deep, and sadly West Ham just couldn't keep up. Sheffield United over Spurs. That was a game though that we didn't really talk about because personally I didn't want to touch it.
Yeah, it's just too risky.
It's too risky. Sheffield United have a very good team this season, very good. And like we said, in the FA Cup, anything can happen. And Harry Kane missed a few chances in that game, but again, Sheffield United played very, very well.
But have you seen the Spurs lineup, the starting lineup?
It
was like a Premier League game.
They took the game very serious.
They took it very serious, but somehow...
I know, well, so Sheffield United in recent seasons has been in the Premier League, and when they've been in the Premier League in recent seasons, they've actually played very well against Spurs, very, very well. I can recall a couple of games that they played incredibly well. I can also remember Spurs having some good moments against them, but Sheffield United, with their confidence in recent seasons against Tottenham Hotspur definitely made a big difference last night and helped them in that game.
Okay, so that's it for Spurs.
That's it for Spurs. Adios.
Crisis. Adios for Spurs. Crisis still continues.
Yeah, they're a tough one to think about, and we're going to talk about them more when the Premier League, when we get to our Premier League preview a little bit later in the video. They played pretty well against Chelsea over the weekend, but again, that's Chelsea. You know, I mean, Chelsea can make anybody look good right now. Anybody. But Spurs did play okay in that game. Last night they were completely out of it. And the Blades deserved their win. So that one, Man City pretty comfortable over Bristol City.
Pretty comfortable. They should score more.
They should score more. It was a big night for Phil Foden. He had a great game. He'd been struggling a bit recently, but it looks like he's coming back. Looks like Phil Foden's coming back.
He's coming back.
Yep, he played well. Bristol City are another team. Actually, they're not having a bad season at all in the championship. But you know, Man City were just too much for them.
Man City
way too much.
Way
too much. Another one that we did nail though, that we specifically did talk about and we hit it bang on was Burnley. Burnley over Fleetwood Town. That one we felt very comfortable about. I even won a little bit of money on that one. I did. I put a little bit of action. Like that was part of our preview 3-team teaser. Burnley did come through with a nice win.
There are also Burnley fans commenting in the last video.
Oh. Well,
yeah, well, congratulations to you.
Yeah, congratulations, absolutely. I mean, and they're having a damn good season. Vincent Kompany is he's come and done the job, and they drew Man City in the next round. So Vincent Kompany is going back.
Captain Wonderful.
Going back to the Etihad to face Man City. We'll talk about that game in a few weeks, but for right now, Burnley can just enjoy a nice win last night and enjoy being on top of the championship as well.
Here we go, Burnley.
One more that we will talk about. We didn't really mention it in our preview, but looking back on it, we probably should have, because it had red flag toxic written all over it, and that was Southampton and Grimsby Town. And sure enough, I mean, Southampton were appalling in that game, absolutely appalling, and they deserved to lose that. So congratulations, Grimsby Town, with a great win last night. League Two. I was reading some statistics on that. They say like this is only maybe the fifth or sixth time that a League Two side has made it this far, and it hasn't happened in I think about 3 decades. They were commenting on. So they can enjoy this great moment that they have, and for Southampton it's a total crisis.
But in fact, though, let's leave the FA Cup right here for Southampton.
Yep.
Just for Southampton, they just got themselves relegated. You know what? Because they just signed someone, and then to be their manager, and they were like, they look clueless about what they're doing.
Yeah. Well, okay. We'll talk about okay. So real quick, their manager situation. They had Hoffenhussel for many seasons, and he actually did pretty well there, but this season things changed. Things went way down for them, and he had to go. He had to go. And then they brought in Nathan Jones from the championship from Luton Town, who was kind of like the hot name. The young guy who had things going to the championship. This guy was catastrophic. I think he won 1 game in 10, and he was sacked. And then they beat Chelsea when they technically had no manager. And then after that, they installed him full time. And they still look completely rudderless, though, Southampton.
So they just got themselves relegated?
I would think so. It's now March 2nd. I do have that feeling like there's no way back for Southampton. I would be shocked if they were able to save their season. It looks like they're going to be relegated.
It's over.
It does.
Sorry, Southampton fans, but it's over.
Yeah. So I mean, that's it really for the FA Cup. Couple of Premier League games last night. Arsenal, Everton. We nailed that one.
That was an easy pick.
But like that was an easy pick. I think. 99% of people could have nailed that one. But you did go for 3-0, I went for 2-0. It was 4-0.
It was 4-0.
4-0, man.
2, 3, 4.
I know, I mean, it was very comfortable. And the other one from last night as well that we did talk about briefly, Liverpool and Wolves. Okay, I'm not buying it. I'm not getting behind Liverpool at all. Okay. They won 2-0 last night, but that was a tough 2-0. It was 0-0 at halftime. They needed 2 late goals to win that game. And frankly, I think the only reason they won it is because Wolves are just terrible. That's it.
Yeah.
Like when I look at these wins that Liverpool have had recently, Everton. Terrible. Newcastle, Nick Pope with a red card, they're in bad form right now also. Wolves, terrible. Like those are their 3 wins. I still don't feel good about this Liverpool team right now at all. So fair enough, they won last night, but I'm not going to put too much into that game.
Liverpool, I thought Wolves could have had him.
I mean, they had a few moments.
They had a few moments.
They did have a few moments.
I thought they should have had it. I thought Wolves had it.
Oh, well, on another day they could have. And keep in mind, Wolves had beaten Liverpool a couple of times. Yeah. They hammered them in the Premier League 3-0 a few weeks back. So Liverpool can't really feel good about that win last night. The only thing Liverpool can feel good about is they got the 3 points, and that's it.
Yep, that's it.
So with that said, and speaking of Liverpool and talking about them right now and how they're doing, let's get into the Premier League this weekend.
Here we go.
And obviously the big match that we got to start out with is Manchester United and Liverpool.
Damn!
At Anfield, under the floodlights, Sunday night. It is going to be a big match. Man United are absolutely flying right now.
This is another game of the reputations. Liverpool will somehow try to push their games so as Man United as well. have you know, this is football. You know?
Yep.
Even though how shit their forms are,
Yep.
but if they're going against their rival,
anything can happen.
Anything could happen.
I know, yeah. We mentioned this briefly in the last video. Yeah, Man United have not won at Anfield in more than 7 years. The last time they won there was January of 2016. So that's more than 7 years since they've won a game there. Now, granted, Liverpool have had some very good times, some very good teams during that period, and Man U have had some terrible teams during that period. But this season, it does feel like if Man U doesn't do it now, it might not happen for a very long time. Because Liverpool, they're not good, they're low on confidence, and Manchester United are flying right now.
So this is your chance, Man United fans. This is your chance.
It is your chance. But let's talk about the game a bit more, about what to expect. What are you thinking from this match? How do you think it's going to play out?
Well, I think Man United's going to win.
Okay.
Well, all due respect to Liverpool fans, I think Man United's going to win. Because, you know, Marcus Rashford is on fire.
He's on fire. Yeah, although Casemiro's on fire as well. Absolutely on fire.
Because the last goal was the last match, the first goal was scored by Casemiro against Newcastle.
Newcastle, yeah.
So yeah, I think Casemiro was on fire around Marcus Rashford.
Marcus Rashford got the second, but it was later changed to an own goal. But for me, it's good enough. Rashford,
it's good enough.
Rashford did everything, so I'm okay with that.
They even got Garnacho that scores last night as well.
I know it.
The fake Brazilian Fred.
Yeah,
But yeah, I think Man United's going to win because, you know, Liverpool, I think, well, if they put Trent on, and then, or somehow if they put Milner against instead of Trent, I think they're fucked. They're fucked. Because Marcus Rashford, you know, Milner's gonna get fucked because he's old, he's slow.
I'd be surprised if he played in that game. Actually, I can't see James Milner out there on the pitch.
But yeah,
Trent's garbage as well.
If I were you, I wouldn't trust him at all.
No, I don't trust him at all. It's really, really interesting because Man United, you know, obviously with Casemiro in the midfield, they're really, really strong in the middle of the pitch. And Liverpool are awful in the middle of the pitch. They're just shockingly bad. It's going to take something really special for Liverpool to win that game. Well, I don't see it happening. Liverpool aren't going to win the game. It's that easy. Fabinho, who's had a really bad season and who I think is garbage, is going to have to really, really, really put in a superhuman performance in the middle of the pitch for Liverpool to even have a chance in that game. To even have a chance in that game, he's going to have his best game of the season in the middle of the pitch. Liverpool, the one positive for Liverpool is they can still score goals. Salah can still score goals. He's actually having a decent season, which is shocking, but he still can. Nunez is garbage. You never know. Gakpo is not very good either. You never know. Maybe he could do something and get a goal. But Salah does have the ability to pop up and get a goal. I do think Liverpool are going to score in the game.
You do think?
I guess I do think they will score.
De Gea's having an amazing season as well.
De Gea's having a really, really good season. Yeah.
Do you really think Liverpool's going to score?
Oh, I do. I do think Liverpool will score.
Okay.
I also think the first goal in that game, the first goal is always important. When people say the first goal is important, sometimes it's kind of silly because it's always important. But I think it's extra special in this game because if Man U get it, Liverpool are going to collapse. But if Liverpool get it, they do have a chance because it's a derby game and anything can happen. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. I'm going for a 1-1 draw. Yeah, I am. I also think that Man U is as great as they've been and as great as they're doing this season. I do think in recent games, they've kind of been sleeping with angels a little bit. Like, what I mean by that is there's kind of some small things that have really gone their way, 50-50 things that have gone their way. And I don't think that can keep going. So I'm going to kind of play the odds, play the numbers a little bit and say that there's going to be one big moment, one big decision in this game that's going to go for Liverpool. And it's going to keep them in the game. Now, I don't know what it's going to be. It could be a VAR decision. It could be a red card. It could be a slight offside decision. I don't know. But I've just got a feeling there's going to be a slight bit of luck that goes for Liverpool's way in this game. And it's going to be enough to get them a point, get them a draw in it.
I don't see it that way though.
I just think like when I think about like the red card that Man U should have had against Leicester City when the game was 0-0 and Leicester at that point was playing well and could have won that game. When I think about that millimeter offside decision in the opening goal against Newcastle in the League Cup final that went Man United's way as well. Again, these are small decisions. there's no problem that they went for Man United. This stuff happens in football, but they're not always going to go for you. And I just got a feeling. I'm just going to go with a feeling on this one, 1-1 draw.
I don't see it that way.
Fair enough. I mean, fair enough. Liverpool are, let's make this clear one more time. Liverpool are garbage.
Liverpool are garbage.
Yep.
I think this match will end up, I'm sorry, but this is what my mind says.
Lay it on me.
3-1.
Listen, if it happened to be 3-1, I wouldn't be surprised. Keep in mind, Liverpool lost to Anfield 5-2 to Real Madrid just a week ago.
Yeah.
So 1 week ago, they lost to Anfield by 3 goals. So Man United are going to have no fear. They're going to be packed with confidence, and they're going to feel like they can win that game.
Especially if the momentum from where they win the Carabao Cup against Newcastle.
Absolutely.
So they're full of momentum. Right?
Is Harry Maguire going to play?
Wait, he does. Good for you, man. He does. Good for you.
Yeah, right, but no, obviously.
There's no way.
No way.
It's probably going to be Varane.
Varane.
It could even be Varane and Maguire.
No, I think they play Luke Shaw at centre back before they play Maguire. I think they have Luke Shaw. But for Liverpool, I expect a back four. Obviously, Van Dijk will be back there. Robertson, and then you got AA, who's catastrophically bad.
You know what? Real quick, I really think that they should let the Caldwell play.
Oh,
because the last game against Newcastle, he made a stupid foul against who even that was. I can't even remember. It wasn't even his position.
It wasn't even his position.
He was left back, right?
Yeah, he was left back.
And somehow he was doing it in the middle of the pitch, and then he was just made stupid fouls, and he got a yellow card. So I think Luke Shaw should be the one who take the left back position.
Well, that's his natural position.
That's his natural position, not the bloody centre back.
Correct.
I don't see it that way from Man United, but I think Harry Maguire should play. Against Liverpool, the great centre back Maguire and Varane.
So here's the thing, okay, that's a massive roll of the dice for Erik ten Hag. Ten Hag's, he's having a great season. And everything he's doing is working so far. He doesn't need to risk that. It's too big a risk. If he did, let's say, here's the thing. If Manchester United don't play Harry Maguire, and by chance they lost that game, big deal. They're still having a great season. The media's not going to be too hard on them. They just move on to the next game. That's it. If they played Harry Maguire and they lost that game, that could change Manchester United's season. The media would be all over them. The pressure would suddenly go way up. The press would be like, why the hell are you playing Harry Maguire? What the hell is wrong with you? What are you doing? So it ain't worth the risk.
Okay.
It ain't worth it. I don't see them doing that.
But yeah, for me, I think that left back they should put Shaw, center back they should put Varane and Maguire, and right back they should put Van Bissaka.
Okay, well, let's see. It'll be the lineups will be interesting. It'll be very, very interesting. So yeah, we'll move on from there. I'm really looking forward to that game Sunday night. Relaxing on myself and watching. It's going to be great. But we'll talk about the other games as well because there's a lot of other good games. Another big one, early game Saturday, the great 7:30 p.m. kickoff here in Bangkok. Manchester City, Newcastle United.
Manchester City and Newcastle.
Newcastle United are in terrible form right now. Let's say it. They've still only lost 2 games in the Premier League all season, which is the lowest. Again, both of them to Liverpool somehow. But they're not playing well right now at all.
They're not.
What do you think about this?
Well, do you remember the game that Newcastle go against United? When Newcastle conceded the goal, they pushed forward really hard.
Really hard, yeah.
They attacked Man United. They do everything. But the problem with them is they can't finish. The touch in the opposition box, the penalty box wasn't that sharp.
No, it wasn't.
They didn't have the perfect last position.
Yep.
Even Saint-Maximin. I know.
Yeah.
We all know we got that pace.
Oh yeah.
But everyone is so slow.
In the final third, they just weren't good enough.
Yeah, I was about to say.
In the final third, they were poor. I completely agree. The first half an hour against Manchester United in that League Cup final, I felt like that game was there for Newcastle. It was there.
But you should have had it.
And if they had gotten that first goal, we don't know what would happen. You never know in football. But in that first 30 minutes, that game was there for them to take. And not only did they not take it, they really didn't even challenge De Gea. De Gea didn't have to do much in that game.
Yeah, quiet game.
Very quiet game, which is always a good thing, when you have a great back four in front of you. So with that said, I'm going for a Manchester City win.
You go for Manchester City?
Absolutely. A fairly comfortable win as well.
Comfortable win?
I'm going to go for 2-0. Could be 3-0.
You know what? I think it could be a draw. It could really be a draw.
Fair enough. But Man City City last weekend against Bournemouth. Now again, this is Bournemouth. They've given up the most goals in the Premier League. But I thought they looked really good in that game. I thought Man City looked really good. I thought they looked really good against Bristol City the other night in the FA Cup. I'm going for a Manchester City win.
You go for Manchester City?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Oh.
Yeah, but if you like a draw, I mean, fair enough. Sometimes to our viewers out there, like, sometimes we have conflicting opinions, and there's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes I know for a fact that there's been some that you've nailed that I've been wrong on, and it goes both ways. It goes both ways.
And for you audience at home, maybe you want to comment down below your thoughts about the game as well. Just comment down below. So let us know what do you think.
Absolutely.
What's your thought? I would happy to read.
I love those comments. I love it.
So make sure to comment down below your thoughts about the scores. What do you think it's gonna be?
So you'll go for a draw. I'm going for a Man City win.
I'll go for a 1-1 draw.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, if Newcastle gets the first goal, they could defend and get a point out of that. So that leads us to the other game then. Arsenal are playing Bournemouth at home at the Emirates. This is clearly a win for Arsenal.
Clearly a win.
Yeah, so what you're saying is that if Newcastle and Man City draw and Arsenal were to beat Bournemouth, that would put Arsenal 7 points ahead of Man City. And I think the title race would be done and dusted at that point. I do. If they went 7 clear in early March, Arsenal, like this isn't your normal Arsenal team. These guys can play, man. These guys got confidence as well. I know they had a small dip, but since then they've gone win over Aston Villa, win over Leicester City, and then last night win over Everton.
I think this game could be different gravy. You know why? Because
lay it on me.
Most of the Premier League, they have I'm sorry, but their striker was at that level. But Bournemouth, they have Dominic Solanke.
They do have Solanke.
You know that he can finish. Which Arsenal defender has but they just always make mistakes.
They do make a few mistakes. Sometimes they leave some space open.
They do risky passes.
Yeah.
And Dominic Solanke, you know that he can score. You know that. Well, Bournemouth always surprised us.
They have.
This match, I would say this. It will be a little bit risky, but I would say that this one could be a draw.
Could be a draw.
It will be. I didn't say that it will. It could be. It could be a draw because Bournemouth. They have an amazing team right now. They have an amazing striker, which he can score. He can score. And Arsenal, sometimes their final third wasn't that great. You know it.
Do you think Bournemouth are going to be relegated this season?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so. I don't think Bournemouth will be a relegation.
Well, if they can beat Arsenal, I'd say that they have a good chance of staying up. But the problem with Bournemouth, though, is again, like I mentioned, they've given up the most goals in the Premier League. They give up a shitload of goals.
To be fair.
And I just feel like, okay, let's say Bournemouth get a goal. Let's just say by chance Bournemouth get a goal and they're 1-0 up. They score first. And Arsenal, they're going to be stunned by that. But Arsenal can score in that game at any point in time. But a few weeks back, Arsenal had a 1-1 draw with Brentford at home. So you never know, but I am going to go for an Arsenal win in that game.
I'm going to go for a draw.
Go for a draw. Wow, so you're saying draw for Arsenal and draw for Man City.
Draw for Arsenal and draw for Man City.
I love it. Yeah, I love it. All right. So I'm going to quickly kind of get into what I feel is I want to throw off there for my 3-team teaser this week. This is what I feel for the games, and we'll talk a bit more about these games as well. But first off, I am going to go for Man City over Newcastle United.
Man City over Newcastle.
I feel good about that one. I'm going to go for an Aston Villa win over Crystal Palace.
Aston Villa, okay.
Yeah, I like the way Villa are playing. I do. They played really well against Everton last weekend, and they played really well against Arsenal the weekend before that. They were really unlucky in that game against Arsenal. And Palace, I watched Palace play against Liverpool last weekend. Liverpool were shit, but Palace were shit as well. Both of them were garbage. I'm going for an Aston Villa win over Palace. And my other one to round it out, two teams that did not look good last night, but I am going for a Spurs win, Tottenham Hotspur win over Wolves. Yeah, I'm going for a Spurs win over Wolves.
You gotta be serious.
Yeah, I'm going with it. I'm going for a Spurs win. I know Spurs looked like shit last night. I don't like that Wolves team at all right now, though. I don't feel good about them. They lost to Bournemouth a few weeks ago at home. And I just think Spurs know that they made a big mistake last night, and they're gonna want to rectify that mistake. And they're coming back, and they're going to want to get a win. So I'm going for Spurs win, Aston Villa win, Manchester City win. That's my 3-team teaser.
That's just 3-team teaser.
Yeah, but I also feel very, very good about Arsenal beating Bournemouth as well. But you never know, so maybe that could be a side bet. Just a little side bet, Arsenal will win, side bet.
We didn't focus on that much, but if you're just feeling lucky, why not just throw a little bit of money on it?
Why not throw a little bit of money on it? How about you, Spurs and Wolves? What do you think about that?
Damn, I think. Yeah, you know what? From the thing you say, I'm buying it. I thought the Spurs gonna probably do some revenge or something because they lost
somehow. Yeah.
So yeah, I think Spurs. Spurs did beat Chelsea though.
They did beat Chelsea.
They did beat Chelsea. Yeah. So I think Spurs are probably they're probably gonna win.
So speaking of Chelsea, let's get to them real quick.
Okay.
They're playing at home against Leeds United. I'm not touching it. I'm not touching that game. Like Leeds United, for me, they're kind of listen, these guys can score goals, and they can pop up with a performance. You know, they came through for us big time last weekend against Southampton, that great win. We won a lot of money on that game. They came through for us. They could have a bit of confidence right now. Chelsea have no confidence at all. The game's at Stamford Bridge. You never know. I mean, Chelsea, there is going to come a time when Chelsea turn it around. That's a fact. I don't know when it's going to be. I thought it would have already happened by now, which it hasn't. So until I see it with my own eyes, anything involving Chelsea, I'm staying away from. I'm staying away from it.
You know, I've heard the news about Chelsea as well. They even said that they might bring Mourinho back.
Yeah,
Mourinho.
I even read the news that they could bring in the new Brighton manager. The one that Brighton just brought in to replace Graham Potter. They might bring him in.
But you know, since Todd Bowley likes him, Graham Potter, and even Chelsea's not competing for going for top 4.
They're not going. There's
nothing going good for Chelsea.
Let me just tell you this statistic. This is shocking. You know how garbage and shit that Liverpool are. I mean, they're terrible. Liverpool are 8 points ahead of Chelsea.
8 points.
That tells you how bad that somehow Chelsea managed to fall 8 points behind Liverpool is shocking. I would avoid them right now. I'd avoid anything Chelsea. Now, with that said, Chelsea could pop up and win the game, but I don't want anything to do with it. Thiago Silva, he took a bad injury as well. He's out for a while.
He was out for a while. But talk to me more about Graham Potter though.
Well, Graham Potter, listen, it does, the more and more I read and see about Graham Potter, it does sound like pretty much as long as Chelsea are not relegated this season, he's safe.
He's safe.
It sounds like Graham Potter and Chelsea could finish like 16th.
16th.
And he is safe. Because we mentioned this in the last video that if Todd Bowley were to sack him, it would be really embarrassing for Todd Bowley. It'd be like humiliating because he was his chosen hand-picked guy to replace a Champions League winning manager. So if he sacked him, it's like a major, major embarrassment. And not only does he look stupid, but he looks like a stupid, arrogant American. And like Americans, like when it's involved in the Premier League, have this gigantic ego and they don't want to look stupid. And Todd Bowley would look like a fucking moron if he sacked Graham Potter. So it ain't gonna happen. I think Potter's safe. As long as Chelsea don't start to get into serious relegation danger, he's safe.
Yeah, I think he's safe though because you should give him this season because they ain't competing for top 4 anymore.
Correct.
Things are getting better for Chelsea, so this should be the season. You should give him the summer. You should give him the whole season.
Absolutely.
But if the summer,
well, they're going to spend more money. We know that. They're going to spend a shitload of money.
They're going to spend shitloads of money, but I think you should give him another season. And if somehow things didn't change, then you should. Oh yeah,
then he's gone. He's gone. Yeah, he's gone. But I guess they could give him a summer transfer window.
They should do.
They play Borussia Dortmund in the Champions League next weekend as well. At home, 1-0 down. You never know. Maybe they could turn it around, but. I don't think so, but we'll talk about that in the next video. One more game I do want to throw out, which is a major game at the bottom of the table. This is key game of the weekend. Nottingham Forest playing at home against Everton. What do you think about that?
Steve Cooper.
Steve
Cooper's gonna outrun Sean Dyche.
It does seem like this entire season, Nottingham Forest have looked really bad at times, but whenever they needed a result, they got it.
Even against Man City.
Man City, they beat Liverpool, which isn't saying much, but they did beat Liverpool. They had a very respectable draw with Chelsea. So yeah, when they need results, they get them. And Forest were hammered last week, 4-0 against West Ham. Their confidence could be down right now, and this to me is one of those games that they need. They need a result, and they've been doing it all season when they need a result. And I definitely think that Forest will not lose this game. It could be a draw. It possibly could be a draw because Everton will be desperate, absolutely desperate. I'm not touching it, by the way. I'm not touching this game. But I don't think Everton will win. I can say that. I do not think Everton will win this game.
But I think Forest will win. Though.
Okay, brilliant.
I think Forest.
I would love to see a Forest win.
They have an amazing player. They have an amazing season. Not amazing, but they're
not amazing. They're good enough.
Good enough.
Yeah, they're good enough. It's a big game. Everton. They looked terrible against Villa, lost 2-0 over the weekend. They looked terrible against Arsenal, they lost 4-0. So they've conceded 6 and scored 0 in their last 2 Premier League games. I mean, Forest, surely, Nottingham Forest are going to score in this game, I'm sure that. They're going to get at least 1 goal, possibly 2, you know, but 1-0, even 1-0 could be good enough for Forest in this game, could be. I guess I'll go for a Forest win as well. If I had to choose, I'll go for a Forest win. But it's one of these games I don't really feel comfortable because, to be fair to Everton, they popped up with a great win against Arsenal a few games back, and they popped up with a great win against Leeds United a few games back as well. So you just never know about them. And if Everton score first in that game, Sean Dyche is going to pack them in and sit back and try to get
just defend.
Just defend. So it's one of these games I'm not comfortable with. I'm not comfortable.
But I'm sure they understand. I am comfortable to say that Nottingham Forest and Steve Cooper would definitely win.
Listen to him, folks. He knows what's up.
You know what? Let's talk about the scores.
Okay.
Come on, the scores.
Man,
lay it on.
Okay, again, this is I'll go for 1-0 Nottingham Forest.
1-0 Nottingham Forest.
Yeah, but 1-1 wouldn't surprise me at all. But I will 2-0. Brilliant.
Anything could happen.
2-0. Anything can happen. So that one is another one of the big ones over the weekend. There's a few other ones. I do know that Fulham are playing Brentford as well. London Derby, West London Derby. Actually, not only is that London Derby, those 2 clubs are right next to each other. Fulham and Brentford in West London. There's actually 4 clubs that are right next to each other. Brentford, Fulham, Chelsea, and QPR. They're all right next door. So that's a real big local rivalry. I don't feel good about that game. I'm not touching it. I would go for a draw, but I don't like it at all. Fulham and Brentford. I'm advising everybody out there to stay away from that game.
They should.
It's a tricky one. It's a very tricky game. So just to recap, my 3-team teaser, I'm going for Manchester City, I'm going for Aston Villa, and I'm going for Tottenham Hotspur. And I still feel very good about Arsenal with Bournemouth. I'll probably put a side bet on that game. Arsenal,
let's put a side bet.
Side bet on Arsenal with Bournemouth. I'll put a side bet on that. I'm going for a draw with Liverpool and Manchester United. Reluctantly I'm going for a draw in that game because it's a tricky one as well, but I will go for a draw on that, and let's see what happens. Absolutely.
So all I can say now is to enjoy the game.
Enjoy the game. Enjoy those matches out there. It's going to be another great weekend of Premier League football.
Yep. So and we would also love to know your thoughts about the matches as well. What are your thoughts?
Get those thoughts in there. Get those comments in there. Maybe there's something that you see that you know we missed, and you can give us a bit of advice as well, and we'll take that into consideration.
We'll take it.
Absolutely.
We're happy to take
anything you want to give us. We'll take it all.
We'll take it all. So but gotta say thank you to all those grateful comments again from the last video.
Thanks to everybody out there.
Thanks to everybody out there. You really made me and Teacher Monday. So I think we rounded out everything ready.
Covered it all. Another great morning here in Bangkok, and to everybody out there, place those bets.
Place your bets, ladies and gentlemen. So ladies and gentlemen, I think that should do it for today.
Absolutely.
So don't forget to hit subscribe, like this video, and share this video to your families and friends to let them make some money as well.
Absolutely. Best of luck to everybody out there.
Best of luck everybody out there. So hope to see you guys again next video.
Take care. Adios.
Enjoy the game. Brilliant.